Hey everyone that's here so far. My name is Veronica McManus, and I am an RPR Industry Relations Director, as well as a very proud almost 30-year member of Mass Association of Realtors. I currently live in Florida, and I still haven't given up my Massachusetts license, but my history is I was a practitioner for well over 15 years, so I definitely know what it's like to be a realtor in Massachusetts and to combat misinformation out there. And that's what RPR is here for you, to help you combat the misinformation that's out in the marketplace and to show and give examples of you, the realtor, being the real estate industry expert. I'm going to get started, and a couple of housekeeping things just to make you aware of. If you have any questions, by all means, please go into the chat, put your questions in. I've also put in some websites in there for you. The first one is actually, it's a link to a registration for an MLS PIN Realtors Commercial Alliance of Massachusetts commercial webinar. And this webinar is for all realtors, whether you're a commercial practitioner, a residential practitioner, or do a little bit of both, or is looking to investigate or see what's out there for commercial members. So you may want to grab that link. The other link I have in there for you is to our blog, which is where you'll find more training. And then the last one, narrpr.com, is for you to how to sign up for RPR. And excuse me, that's the website where you'll go to. You can also access RPR from Berkshire MLS, MLS PIN, and Cape Cod and Islands through deep linking available on the property pages within those MLSs, as well as access from their dashboard. So we do have a question in the Q&A. It looks like chat is disabled. I am going to defer to Sabrina, who is monitoring us from the MAR staff, and this is the MAR site, so I'm going to let her manage that. And you don't see the links. So the links are in the chat. You are in the Q&A, but the links are in the chat. So I refer you all over to go into the chat box. So go on over into the chat box. Let me know so the host and all of you can see what's in the chat, but that's where we'll be addressing questions in the chat. So let me try it again. Let's see what's going on. Can't see. All right, so Sabrina is going to move everything over into Q&A, and I will retract that everything is going to be in the chat. We'll put it into the Q&A. So you'll be able to ask questions, get them answered, and grab those links off the Q&A. And I'll grab the other two, and then we'll get started. And absolutely feel free to go into the Q&A and ask the questions, and go into answered, and you'll be able to see those questions, those answers. All righty. All right, so let's get started. What is RPR? And everything that I tell you about today, and all of the things that you haven't seen or you won't get a chance to see today, there is no additional cost to you. RPR is your Realtor member benefit. RPR is NAR's technology company, wholly owned by NAR. A portion of about $12 or $13 of your national dues funds RPR. We are a national database of parcel-centric properties. So essentially what that means is that you can pretty much go into RPR and plug in any property address in the country and find out who owns it, what did they pay for it, all of the public record information attached to that property, including the MLS data. And over 3/4 of the MLSs in the country will display their active listings in RPR. So you could essentially see active listings with all of the MLS data from those MLSs across the country. And then what we'll do is, reinforce the fact that RPR is exclusively for realtors. So keep this in mind. This is not a consumer-facing website. And the idea is, when it was created, was so that you could produce these reports and cause the consumer to come to you and call you first. If you've been in the business more than 20 years, you remember when there was no internet, when the consumer called the realtor first, and that doesn't happen anymore. But we have reports within RPR that I'll show you that you can share and just keep reinforcing that basis that the real estate industry expert is the realtor. Again, as I said, everything that I'm going to show you and all the things we don't get a chance to see today are at no additional charge for the realtors, and again, no consumer or public access. You are the center of community, RPR, the MLS. The realtor really is a dynamic member of the community, and we give you tools to reinforce that. So right here, it says what next. This is if you've registered for your new to RPR series, or if you haven't been around RPR recently. You're going to be able to access this webinar series through the Mass Association of Realtors website here. Under data and tools, we have, let me just give a quick and go over to Realtors Property Resource. Here on the MAR website, that's marealtor.com, you have a landing page that can take you into RPR, and this is where you can register for a series of classes to teach you what you need to know about RPR to help you in your business right away. So that's available to you on the marealtor.com website under data and tools, found right under here, data and tools. So how are you going to access RPR? Many ways. You can access through that website, the marealtor.com website. On the landing page, you can go directly to narrpr.com through the MLS. We also have a mobile site, a mobile app, and you'll get that out of the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. And I'm going to give you some information on RPR Mobile. Everything that I'm going to show you today, you'll be able to find in RPR Mobile, and RPR Mobile and the desktop site sync. So any reports that you may create within the website or on mobile will sync to either platform. If you haven't created your account yet, you'll go to narrpr.com, narrpr.com, and you will follow the create a new account prompts. It's super simple, and we'll walk you right through it. We also have 24/7 assistance, and I'll show you how to access that as well if you have any, if you need any help doing that. Also, I want to remind everyone that this webinar is being recorded, and Sabrina will send it out to you in the next few days. So you'll be able to review everything that we've talked about today. So today we're going to go through the homepage features, the agent profile, searching, search results, property details. I'll talk to you about all of the reports that can be created and how to use them in your business. One of the things that I'm going to show you and that we'll talk about is the difference between an AVM, which I'm going to describe to you here, and an RVM. An AVM is an automated valuation model, and this is a value that's created on properties, and you know what, you've seen them. All the different websites have them, with the most popular one amongst consumers being Zillow's Zestimate. And that is calculated using only public record information. And as it says here, it's usually found on an ad-based real estate site. At RPR, we create what's called an RVM, a realtor's valuation model. And yes, we do use public record information, but the secret sauce, and you might want to write this down, the secret sauce that causes the RPR RVM to be accurate within 10% plus or minus of fair market value, 90 to 95% of the time, are the is the MLS data, the active, the solds, and the off-market data. This is something that a typical automated valuation model, an AVM, does not include. And that data is what increases the accuracy of the RPR RVM. An automated valuation model is typically accurate within 20% plus or minus of fair market value, about 60 to 65% of the time, if it has not used any MLS data in that algorithm. But we use 3 different algorithms, and we will rate the accuracy depending upon how close each result of those 3 different algorithm results are within each other. So we have more about that on the site. So if you have any questions, you'll be able to do a quick click and get more information to remind you of that. But what you have to remember is when you plug in an address into the RPR search bar and an RVM value is on that property, you have a very good starting point for what that property is valued at. Now, during the fast and furious and crazy market that we've had for the last couple of years, it has been a little bit difficult for the RVMs to be generated to keep up with the marketplace, but it's still a very good starting point. And in many areas, the RVM has caught up and you can feel very comfortable using it. We update these RVMs on a daily basis, and you could see that RVM change, from one day to the next. So let's move on and take a look at RPR today. So I'm going to go in here, and once you sign in, hold on, I want to just jump back for one moment. I wanted to remind you that there's no cost to attend our national webinars, which can be found on our blog. We will send you the reminder, and we'll also send you the RPR, the webinar recording when it's completed. And I'll show you the blog right now so that you can go to the blog, blog.narrpr.com, and under learning, you'll just click on learning, and these are all of the different webinars that we have. They're live and recorded. We also have videos and handouts. You'll notice to the left of these thumbnails, you can actually just focus in on what you would like to learn and just look at those different things. And 2 that I want to bring your attention to are mailing labels and market trends. We can create mailing labels for you for any type of snail mail prospecting. And folks, snail mail is back. People do love to receive valuable information. And we have classes on what can be used with snail mail for target marketing. And then market trends. I'm going to show you that in RPR. So let's go there now. So here, after you've created your username and your password, and you've entered into RPR, this is going to be your landing page. We'll keep you signed in for 2 weeks. As long as you sign in every 2 weeks or go in every 2 weeks, you'll automatically go through, whether you go link to RPR from any of the MLSs or go directly. So here's an example of what you're going to see when you go into RPR. The landing page here at the top of the page, you can toggle between residential and commercial. And then you will be able to, at the top of the page, you can see we have home, research, and all of these, we will show you what does research mean. You can search for properties by the address here to the left, go into the map search. You can do a neighborhood search, school, market activity, commercial site selection, commercial map insights. And if you're not sure what you want to research or how you want to research, we'll show you the tools within RPR to do so. We'll even give you some tips on prospecting and show you how to prospect for residential and commercial clients. And we even have some information on marketing tips. So you can see not only are we a data depository or repository, we have tools and tips on how to use all that data. Here are all of the RPR reports that can be created. mini property report, full property report. A seller's report is the CMA. We have 3 different CMAs. The seller's report, your typical CMA, picking your actives, pending, sold day information, and creating a great report for that. And then you can make a flyer. You can do a mini property report, which is great on giving just kind of a mini update a couple of weeks into your listing. A valuation workbook, which is very typical as to how an appraiser would do an appraisal within Massachusetts. And I'm going to give you some tips on that when we get to that portion of the program. Market activity report, neighborhood report with economic, demographic, quality of life, and market statistics. School reports, our school information comes from Niche, and it has school ratings. You can share these out. The school report, the neighborhood report, market activity report, a property flyer. All of these can be used for social media. So you could create a social media campaign or a snail mail campaign using these different reports. From the desktop, all of your reports can be shared to Facebook if you'd like to do that. And then from the app, you can share to Instagram, you can text, tweet, and email, and you can email also from the desktop. I'm going to quickly just check in the Q&A for a couple of questions, and yes, you will receive a copy of the webinar, a recording. Down in commercial, we have property report, trade area, and trade area analysis. And if you're confused and you don't know which report to use, we'll show you how by just clicking on picking the right report. Under Learn, it will teach you and show you about what on the page that you're on. So whatever page you're on and you want a quick update or learn something quick or just going through and you're not quite sure where to go, just click on Learn and we'll give you information about everything that's on that page, including what the most recent top questions are and how other realtors are using or have used RPR to have success in their business. If you need help, and this is super important, if you need help, you can call us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Our help desk is located in Omaha, Nebraska, and a real live person will answer you as well as chat with you, or you can go into training or send us an email. So anytime you need help, go to RPR. We're here for you. Here's all of your work that's available to you, so you don't have to research or redo things. They're all saved for you. This is super important. Your profile in the upper right-hand corner, make sure your profile is filled out because all of this information is what's going to show up on your reports. It's all right here. So you put all of your information in, websites, contact information, you know, if you have any titles or you have any designations, make sure you put those in as well. So let's go to the home page. What are you going to find on the home page? And let's do a search in Massachusetts. And let's see if we can take a picture of what's happening in Massachusetts. So I could do a quick look about what's happening on the in Centerville, Mass. These are all public records. And I'm just going to dash back to the home page. And on your home page, you can set your market area on the left-hand side. It's like a hot sheet. So you can set that and you can see a daily update of what's happening in the market area that you've set here on this map, scrolling in and out using the map tools. Down in the bottom part of the page, you'll have all of your recent properties, what you've saved, what you've created, etc., different searches that you've done. Down in the at the very bottom, you can go to our Facebook group, get help, or on-demand training. So let's take a look at a property page, what you're going to find on a property page. This is a property that's currently listed. So you have a buyer, for example, and that buyer says, gee, I'm interested in 7 Guilford Road in Centerville, Mass. So you right across the top, we'll have the property info, market trends we'll take a look at. refine the value of one of our 3 CMAs, and here are the other 2 CMAs, your neighborhood report, and any updates that you've made. You'll get a snapshot of the property right across the top of the page. All the MLS photos, current and historical, will be located here on the left-hand side that you can scroll through. And let's take a look at that RVM. You'll notice the list price is about $480,000 and the RVM is $494,210. So the question might be asked, oh, well, did the listing agent or the seller select a list price that is a little lower? Well, remember, this is just based on numbers, and you as a realtor, you go in and you advise the seller based on the market activity of a price range. And that price range is based also on property condition. So maybe the property condition warrants pricing at this level. Remember, the RVM or even an AVM is created based strictly on numbers, pending a physical inspection by the practitioner. Here is more information on that RVM, the range, if it was in excellent condition or very poor condition. The RVM is based on average condition, and here's more information on the RVM by clicking on the R. We're 100% confident that this $479,900 is within that 10% plus or minus of fair market value. You've got your basic facts on the homeowner and the property. Here are your pricing tools. Description, you can make notes. So you could actually make notes either after the inspection or what you know of the property and give that report to the homeowner. We have additional resources for you over here if you're interested in environmental information. Your firm uses zip forms, or if you wanted to do an investment analysis. Right here, if you want, you can make any changes. Oftentimes you'll go in a property and it might not be reflected in public record or on the listing as what you actually see. So you can make some changes, and those are only for you. Here's all the listing agent information, agent remarks, anything extra that you need to know, more opportunity for notes. The rest of the page is going to be information from public record or from the listing. If there's a plat map available, we'll have it over here. Here's your school information, location details, listing history. You can compare records from historical MLS listings. You can go in and compare those listings right here by clicking on compare. Currently, it was listed by Cape Cod and Islands. It's only been listed once most recently, but you can compare if there were multiple MLS listings over the past few years. You can take a look at all that info right here. I'm going to quickly check the chat, and there are no other questions in the chat, so I'm going to continue on. That's other information, sales and financing activity. So anytime that property has been remortgaged, there's been a home equity loan, a closing, sale, etc., that's all going to be here for the past 3 years. So you can get a kind of just kind of an overview on what's been going on for sales and financing and any listing activities. Estimated values, we have a tremendous number of charts and graphs within RPR to give you some really great statistics on trends and where things have been that can kind of help you where things are going. Of course, no one has a crystal ball, but at least by looking at historical information, and in this particular case, going back to January of 2008, you can look at values over the years. So let's look at this next page here, this next market trends. I love this market trends. First thing that we're going to do is we want to look at market trends for Centerville, and I specifically just want to look here in the upper right-hand corner for single family homes. I want to apply it to all the charts on this market trends. So with this market trends, you can share this information. We have some training on how to share this out to the public via social media, creating reports, etc. You can also do this from the app as well. You can see here, based on February, we will have the results for March very shortly, and provided that there were at least 3 sales in for this property type, we'll see an updated within the next few days on what was happening by the end of March. And you could still see in February, it was still very much a seller's market in Centerville. There was 0.95 months of inventory. The sale price was 100.5% list to sale price, usually about 20 days in RPR, and what the median sold price is. This information gives a great at-a-glance look. It's especially helpful when working with buyers and sellers to help them with formulating their offers and kind of giving them a real photo of what's going on in the market. Here we can look at what's happening with the active listings. So what's the competition for a seller? What are the opportunities for buyers? And we can look at sale prices, the median sale prices going back to February of 18. You can click on this tab for the number of properties, how days on market, price per square foot, total volume, median living area per square foot. You know, I understand not all consumers are going to want to look at all of these features. And as you get to know the consumer and what you're comfortable with displaying and explaining, this is a fabulous tool. I really do love it. Same tabs for sold listings, list to sale price. So we can see it is definitely still very much a seller's market within the community of Centerville. Sold public records gives an overview back to February of 18 about what was happening in the sold area. Listing inventory, inventory of distressed properties, median estimated property values. I'm just going to scroll back up here. Just as an FYI, RPR has the largest database of distressed properties of any platform out there. We collect, remember, we collect all the public records. So any public record that has a notice of default, notice of sale, notice of foreclosure, plus any short sales or any properties that are owned by the banks and the holding companies, etc. So we have all of that information in RPR between public record and the MLS data. So as you can see, this trends tab is extremely full of information, and you can include this trends tab information within the neighborhood report, or you can create a report right from this page or print the page right here. Let's look at refined value, one of the 3 CMAs. I'm just going to show you the features. We're not going to actually do one, but I'm going to show you the features. And this refined value here is when you look at that RVM and you see that the RVM isn't really accurately reflecting maybe some home improvements that were done on the property. You can actually come in and scroll down here to refine value and look at different home improvements. RPR is able to give today's value of historical home improvements. So for example, let's just say they did a major mid-range kitchen remodel on this property. And so you'll look at the description, and provided the description matches about 80 to 85% of what you see, you'll put in the date that this property improvement was completed, even if it was back in, say, 2017. So about 6 years ago. And let's say they did it in April. And let's say in a ranch in the Centerville area, and it was a small, it's really just a 200 square foot kitchen. All of this information, and I'm actually gonna just kind of look. Yep, I'm gonna go with that mid-range major kitchen remodel, and I don't really know what the all of the costs would be for that down on the Cape, but let's just say they spent about $50,000. Well, we get our information, and these values are created and given to us by the publishers of Remodeling Magazine. And Remodeling Magazine especially creates this for RPR, and they have all of this data on what the return on investment, the ROI, is on different property improvements. And they've created it for us to tell us that today, on a home improvement, a major kitchen remodel back on 2017, in the Massachusetts Cape Cod area, that home improvement is valued today at about $19,285. I will tell you from personal experience that this works beautifully. I did it with my own home that I sold back in 2014, and I came within $2,000 of the actual sale price of using all of the home improvements that were completed on my property. So this is a wonderful way to get a value of historical home improvements, and to increase the value, if necessary, on needed home improvements by adding the cost. You can also even further tweak this by local market conditions, lot size, view, privacy, etc. And you can see that we've increased the RVM on this property by about $19,000. So that's one of the 3 ways to price a property. It's used in special cases. And again, if you have a class, if you take one of our courses specifically on the CMA, you'll learn how to do this in detail. Here's our traditional CMA, our comp analysis, confirm the home facts. So just make sure that everything that you see lines up. Just make your changes, partial baths, full baths. Sometimes you go into a property and it says it has 4 bedrooms, but you have to go through one to get to the other. And we all know that walking through one bedroom to get to another, that's really a nursery, a study, walk-in closet, future walk-in closet. It's not a bedroom. So you can actually make that change over here and say that instead of 4 bedrooms, there are only 3. And then down the end, you may want to add another row for a den or walk-in closet or something like that. But you'll make sure that everything matches up, confirm the facts and close, and that's going to lead to the next step of finding your comps. You'll be able to find your comps by either adding a known property, or you can search an area for several properties. You can add the known property by the address or the MLS listing ID, or you can search the area, because there are a lot of times where you might want to do a map search. If you fill in all of these property types, or the property types that you choose, you're not required to use any. I typically use bedrooms and bathrooms, and not living area or lot size, unless I have to further refine my value. And then you can, any of these parameters that you put in will then be selected from your map area. If you want to enlarge your map area, you may do that. Or if you want to draw a specific area. So for example, let's just say, because you're the area expert, you know that all of the properties in the parameter of Old Stage Road down to right here to this main Falmouth Road, over to Lambert Mill Road, and back up to Old Falmouth Road. That's a special neighborhood, so to speak. And if you want, you can do a specific search within that neighborhood. Entirely up to you. You are the market area expert. I'm just going to blank. I'll use that area and we'll see what happens. But then you'll do your search. And as you can see, a number of properties did come up. Here's your map legend. So you can select from those properties which are here. Remember, I'm just showing you how. I'm not necessarily picking properties today specific for this comp. What I will do is I'll select the properties that are starred. Those properties were used in the creation of the RVM. We typically, of course, we go in, select by style. We might select by bedrooms and bathrooms, etc. But then you'd select your properties that you want to use for your comp. You'd update your valuation and close. Once you update your valuation, you'll adjust your comps. How do they compare? How do these 4 comps compare to our subject property? Again, I'm just showing you how. I'm not actually doing a specific CMA accurately, but let's just say I feel that, this property that closed at Zeno Crocker Road, really was a lot nicer, presented nicer, had a little nicer finishes, was more updated, and I'm going to make an adjustment, positive or negative. So you'll go through, you'll make your adjustments as you see fit. You might even go to that 4th property and say, now that I see this 4th property, I'm not really crazy about it. I'm going to delete it. It really doesn't fit. So now I've ended up with 3 comps. I can make some notes down here if I want to. They can be included if you want in your report. I'll update that valuation and close. And then from here, I'm going to tweak my valuation. I might tweak my range. And remember, this range isn't what you would do if you were actually creating this CMA, but I might fine tune it to about 575. I'm not going to put in a recommended price. This in my practice. I'm not an appraiser. I'm not going to give a value to recommend a list or a value. I'll just recommend a listing price range based on the motivation of the seller. I'll save that, and then I will create my report. Here's how you create your report and where you create it. I'm going to open this up to the report elements. There are a number of different elements here in the report, and in all reports, they all have different elements for you to choose to include or exclude what you want. My recommendation is do a CMA on your own property, or maybe have one coming up, and then run the report. And then from what you see in the completed report, come back and fine tune this. Decide exactly how much information you want in there. Do you want all historical photos? Do you want all market activity? Do you want the market activity and the health charts? Or would you rather just have the visual of the heat map versus the visual of the charts? Entirely up to you. This is your opportunity to customize this as you would like. You could also suppress any of these estimated values. Maybe the RVM for the property is really too high based on the condition, and you don't want the seller to see that information, and you want to suppress that estimated value because you know that because of the condition, it's been left vacant, or there were never any improvements or repairs, and it's really in a terrible condition and doesn't accurately reflect the value. You may want to suppress that. So you can do that as well. The other feature that we have here in RPR for you to really customize your report. Remember, when you filled out your profile here in the upper right-hand corner, you filled out all of the information you wanted on the front page, on the cover page of that report. However, you can also add in custom pages. As an agent, you can add 5 custom PDFs. So let's add a custom page. I'm going to cancel this, but you would just add your custom page here. Once you click on custom pages, you could add in testimonials. You could add in some marketing, your marketing plan if you'd like. You could add in your recommendations, testimonials, your resume, maybe a bio. How do you contribute to the community? It's entirely up to you. And you can add these into the front of your report or the back of your report. You'd select the custom pages here where it says custom pages, but this is where all of your custom pages would live. And you can include any of them or all of them if you would like. For some of you out there in the audience, your broker owner actually may have branded RPR to your company. So instead of at the top of the page, it's saying RPR, it has your company name, logo, colors. And your broker owner has the opportunity to include 5 PDFs as well. And those PDFs will reflect company image pieces, etc., if that's what they would like to do. So once you've done all of that, make sure it's customized the way you want to. You can put in the recipient's name, a notice. You can display it before you email it, or you can email it directly. I'm going to run this report. We'll take a look at that momentarily. But that is how you would do the CMA for that particular property using the custom, the RVM or the traditional CMA, or we could actually go back to this property and I'll quickly show you the CMA, the sales comp analysis based on the appraisal, like how an appraiser would do it. And if you've already selected comps, you'll you can confirm the facts, but you'll also remember, just the comps will come next, but when this confirming the home facts, we have many more features that are available to select from, and so you can include those. Then you'll find your comps. Since we already selected comps using the comp analysis, you'll just say, do you want to use the same comps? And we'll say yes. And then you'll do the CMA based on weight and adjustments. So that's how you'll do it. Now I'm going to download this report, but while that's downloading, we'll finish here. I had a great piece of advice from Marie Presti. Some of you may remember her or know her from a lot of work with CRS. She was the past president of Greater Boston Association of Realtors. And Marie gave me this tip, and I use it all the time. When you're working with buyers, ask, and the buyers are financing, they're getting a mortgage. After the appraisal is completed, ask them for a copy of that appraisal, because then you'll see the values that appraisers in that marketplace are using for these various features: full baths, above grade, below grade, partial baths, a living area, just the categories for describing condition, all of that information. And that will greater familiarize you with those values. Marie says she never uses a listing when she uses that method with RPR. So that's how you'll add in those values. We have a full CMA webinar that you'll be able to take and to look at look at how to do these CMAs in completion and in total with a deep dive. You're just getting a high level view now. We can take a quick peek at what a report would look like. We're not going to go through all 83 pages, but just so that you can see that the photos are beautiful, it's clear, it's crisp. It has as much or as little data that you would like to include for your consumer. For those consumers, those sellers that like all of the charts and the graphs, we have it and they love it, those analytical folks. For the folks that just like the photos or would like to see just a few charts and graphs, we have that. You can customize this for how you practice your business as well as what your consumer would like to see. You can include or exclude as many or as few photos as you'd like. And here are the charts and the graphs. I'm going to scroll really quickly to show the market activity, and then other charts and graphs, and then scroll really quickly through the other data to get down to the comps. And so that you can see we have a side-by-side comparison of the comps. If you included any notes, this is where they'll be, and then individual pages if you should choose to put those in. I'm going to scroll down a little more quickly through all of the comps so that you can then see the bottom line. Whoops, here we go. We had a lot of comps in there because I left all of them in that were used. And here are the last few pages where your recommended pricing strategy is. what home improvement adjustments were made. That was on the Refine the Value tab. You can do a net sheet, which you can do within the platform for that information to populate here. And then we have where the information comes from, how often it's updated, and if the consumer would like to learn more. So all of that is in here as well. Here's a quick photo that I wanted, not a photo, a listing that I wanted to give you on, I wanted to show you a property that may not be listed and what that would look like. So I'm just going to do a quick show you a public record. So remember, at its core, RPR is a public record data collection. So you can grab a ton of public record information on properties. This property is currently not listed. You can go through, do a CMA, look at market trends, the neighborhood report with economic, demographic, quality of life information. That's all in here. That same RVM, but this is what a public record would look like. So that's a property that's not listed. As you can see, it's very similar to the public record, the property listing page that we looked at previous to this, a property that was listed. We have owner information, owner stats. I want to show you another feature of RPR here. If there are any questions, I'm going to quickly look in the chat. I don't see any further questions, not in the chat, in the Q&A. So, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to pop them into the Q&A.
Veronica, I may have missed it. I don't know if you answered, but someone did ask, are there refined values based on local pricing? Did you answer that one?
So I did reference that a little bit, but not in detail. So thanks for bringing it up. So great question. Remodeling Magazine, what they did was they divided the country into 8 kind of retail areas, and they've created values based in those refined areas. So absolutely a value from California, the Midwest, Texas, the Northwestern states, even the Middle Atlantic states are not going to have the same values as we have here in New England, or that you have in New England. It's not going to be refined in all cases down to zip code, but a general area. My home that I sold in 2014 was in Woburn. And again, I repeat that value came into about $2,000, as close to $2,000 within my sale price. You access RPR based, you can go into any of the 3 MLSs in Massachusetts, and it should be on the MLS homepage. If you go into quick links, you can add it into your quick links customization over on the right-hand side of your homepage in MLS PIN. So that's how you're going to access RPR. If you don't access through the MLS, you're going to go to narrpr.com. But it is in all of the MLSs, and it's attached to every listing in all of the MLSs via a logo link. We've really spent a lot of time on RPR for the CMAs. I also wanted to remind you that if I go to a location, I'm just going to plug in Woburn, for example, and I'm going to go to public records. I'm going to do a search, because my search, I want to do a target market. So I'm going to search for, first, let me go to Woburn and show you how to refine that. It will return properties in an area. So now I'm going to go here, and I want to refine my property search. So I'm going to go to more filters, because I want to do a mailing. I want to search for, I want to search in, I want to search for single family homes. So I got to this by putting in Woburn, Mass, property type, public records, single family, beds and baths. I'm going to eliminate, and then I clicked on more filters. And I clicked on more filters because I want to search for single families, and I want to search for single families that I could do a distressed property search, but I don't want to do a distressed property search. I want to search for single families that have absentee owners. And I want to search for single families with absentee owners that they've owned the property for 15 to 20 years. And if I put in those parameters and I click update and search, I have 45 properties that I come up with. So I've come up with 45 properties that fit the criteria that I want to do for my prospecting. I'm going to come over here to mailing labels, and I'm going to create a PDF of the Avery 5160. And I want the tax billing address, because I don't want that to go to the property, because remember I searched for absentee owners. I want to go to the tax billing address. I want to eliminate the duplicates. I'm going to use the I want to use the owner's name. And then let me scroll down. Why can't I scroll down? And then I'm reconfirming I want absentee owners. I want to exclude properties on the do not mail list. And I'm going to exclude properties with incomplete addresses. And if you look over here on the right-hand side, if you'll notice, I originally started out with about 45 properties, and by putting those further filters in, I now have 39 properties, 39 addresses, and that's my mailing that I'm going to do. Also, I have 2,000 addresses per month that I can pull. So I can pull 2,000 addresses per month for a mailing, and this one's going to be 39. And then I just I hit print, and it will save that to wherever I want it to save. And what's going to be saved is my Avery 5160. I could also save this in a spreadsheet. If I save it in the spreadsheet, and maybe I have a personal marketing company that I want to use to send out those 39 postcards or mailings or whatever, I could do it that way as well. So I wanted to make sure that you were able to see that. And I did that by selecting my community, my property type, my status, and then I refined it by further refining it by number of years that was owned. The other feature that I wanted to quickly remind you of is where to get further information on RPR mobile, and you're going to do that by going to our Learn. You could go directly to our blog, and our blog is blog.narrpr.com. And here is our learning. And when you click on learning, again, you can look on, you can grab something for the mobile app, the market trends, a deep dive on market trends, a deep dive on our CMA, all of those features. I'm going to pop into the Q&A for open questions. Let's see, how do you know which property the absentee owner belongs to? So if I understand that question correctly, I'm going to go back here, and so these 45 properties, that's a great question. Here they are on the map view. I can also click here to get a list view. And this is a list of those 45 properties that we pulled. So you could look at all of those properties. So if you wanted to, you could actually weed out properties based on any other criteria that you may have, and you could eliminate those from the mailing list as well. You could also look at it with a thumbnail view. So that's the answer on how to know which property the absentee owner belongs to. And alrighty, there we go there. And so prospecting, etc., you can find more a deep dive there. I also want to bring your attention to Facebook. That RPR Connect is our Facebook page. You can request access to RPR Connect, and we'll give you access to join the page. And here we'll put out a lot of information as well, anything new and exciting, or an article, or for example, how to funnel leads your way. We'll show you how to use RPR to do that. The other feature is that you can ask a question. Sometimes folks will have a question and we'll answer the question inline. Your best area for getting questions asked are when you're in RPR directly and go to the help page. That's where you're going to get a lot of questions answered by RPR. The other thing that I wanted to show you back on reports again, because that's that seller's report that we created, but I told you that you could share your reports to Facebook if you'd like. I'm going to look at this neighborhood report. So under report options, it says post on Facebook. So Facebook will open up. I can do a call to action, something that I want to remind you about if you've decided that you'd like to do a social media marketing campaign using RPR neighborhood reports, any of the market activity reports, anything like that, have a call to action. So in this particular one, I did a neighborhood report for Woburn. So I would put this out and I would say, here's a neighborhood report giving economic, demographic, quality of life information on Woburn. Would you like me to give one for you? No obligation. Private message me or put your comment in the, put your question, post your comment here. So always have a call to action to try to create some activity that way on anything that you're posting out to social media. But it's real easy. I'm going to say, love doing this custom webinar for MAR. And so I'm going to quickly, before I do that, I'm going to show you here on my Facebook page. So here's my page. And oopsie daisy, my post to Facebook. And then just for example, in the upper left-hand corner, if you have a business page, that's going to show up here. So I'm just going to quickly share mine to my news feed and then just click post to Facebook right here. I'll go back to Facebook, refresh the page. And here it is. And the viewer just clicks on it and it opens up as a PDF. And that's another reason why you want all your information here. So that is how to share to Facebook from the desktop. On the mobile, after you watch that mobile webinar or a video, you'll be able to see completely how that is done. I have another question here. No, okay, 5 asked and answered. It's 2:58. I like to keep within the time limit. I know you guys are all super busy. I know this was a high level, fast paced webinar, but we showed you how to access RPR, what information you're going to find on your property page, where the CMAs are. We know that's the meat and potatoes of our business, the CMAs. I let you know that you can grab any kind of economic, demographic, quality of life, market statistics, and create reports that will beautifully show that information to the consumer. Once you take a deep dive webinar or watch a video, which you can find on here on the learning, all of our, if you only have 10 minutes, you can look for some information and grab something for just 10 minutes. You can have a quick 10-minute tutorial. All of our videos, I'm going to just quickly uncheck this, but let's just say you want a tutorial. You just want to quickly watch a video. All of these tutorials are videos. You can, as I said before, if you go to MAR and you click under data and tools and you come to the Massachusetts RPR landing page, we've got a great little 8-minute video on RPR Mobile, all of these videos on the right-hand side, quick intro to RPR, how to update your profile and settings so you can get some quick learning. And again, so we make it super easy, right? Again, from the home page, whatever page you're on in RPR, always click on Learn, and you'll be able to learn how to communicate, the data that you're finding, how to communicate the shift in the real estate market, and what that means for the consumer, and how to grab that info out of RPR. I know this has been a lot of information in 1 hour. We've only hit the tip of the iceberg with what RPR can do for you. We have investor analysis information, opportunity zones, how to prospect. It's all in here, folks, and it's all available to you. There's no cost. And we really want you to take advantage of it. I appreciate that you appreciated this and liked the info, Maria. I'm glad. I know all of you, again, don't be dissuaded by this fire hose of info. Just take the time and watch a couple of videos, sign up for a couple of webinars, and don't miss that commercial webinar that we're doing, hosted by Realtors Commercial Alliance of Massachusetts. You can click on that link that was originally placed in the Q&A to register for that webinar. The Realtors Commercial Alliance of Massachusetts is a great resource if you have any questions about the practice of commercial real estate. And of course, always, for RPR is here for you. Thanks for your time, and I wish you all good business.